The Tennessee Titans can afford to take Jeremiyah Love in the first round because they still have the ability to add talent to the roster in other ways. I'm going to show you what it'll look like with a mock draft edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is giving you a way to turn big wins into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. On today's bonus show, I am going to do a 3-round mock draft plus talk about free agency, all with the goal of showing you that taking Jeremiyah Love in the first round will not stop the Titans from adding a ton of talent to the roster. Before I dive in, do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there tuning in Monday through Friday. Couldn't do it without you guys. If you aren't an everydayer, what are you doing? The news is about to hit hot and heavy this week. We got free agency next week. Draft right around the corner. You want to stay as up to date, as entertained, and as informed as a Tennessee Titans fan could possibly be. Make sure that you stay locked in with the Locked On Titans podcast. Later tonight, I am going to begin my free agency preview. We are going to talk about the wide receiver free agent class because, boy, the Titans have a lot of options, but I don't like all of the options. Regardless of that, we'll get into that tonight. But now we do need to do a 3-round mock draft that starts with the Tennessee Titans taking Jeremiyah Love at number 4. And I think with the way that this mock draft went, it would be hard for the Titans to pass on some of the talent that was available. We had Mendoza go number 1. You had Caleb Downs go number 2. You had Sonny Styles go number 3, which means the Titans come up to number 4. They have Jeremiyah Love on the board, Ruben Bain on the board, Arvell Reese on the board, David Bailey on the board. And listen, I have told you guys, and I'm going to keep telling you, I would prefer Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain. That will continue to be my preference for the Titans at number 4. But if the Titans took Jeremiah, and I would prefer David Bailey at number 4 as well, even though you guys know I'm not super high on David Bailey. Those would be my preferences. But I would not be upset if the Tennessee Titans took Jeremiyah Love, a certified game changer, a certified playmaker, a guy who can help Cam Ward in the run game and in the pass game. Would it be my preferred option? Like I just said, no, it wouldn't, but I wouldn't be upset if the Tennessee Titans took the best player in the draft in their eyes at number 4. Like, I still think that they would prefer the edge rushers, if I'm honest with you. But in this scenario, we're looking at what it would look like if the Titans did take Jeremiyah Love, and let's just assume that they do. At number 4, the Titans take Jeremiyah Love. Now, the pushback that you get from people is if they do that, they're passing on opportunities to take other guys at more premium positions, whether that be wide receiver, that be edge. But I think the Titans have enough resources in this offseason to where that really isn't the big complaint for me. The big complaint for me would be the lack of value that you get at the running back position and how dependent running back is on other positions and how easy it is to find value at the running back position. Those would be my complaints more than, hey, they're passing up on an opportunity to take one of these other guys. Because, again, the Titans have enough draft capital to add players at those premium positions in other ways. And number 1, you got to look at the rest of their draft picks. The Titans have 8 draft picks, and I see a lot of people say, Titans need to get a number 1 wide receiver. I've heard that a ton throughout the offseason. Well, the reality is you don't know who is going to be a number 1 wide receiver, so just because you take a guy in the top 5, Corey Davis, doesn't mean that they're going to end up being a number 1 true wide receiver. And I would remind you that the last true number 1 wide receiver that the Tennessee Titans had was A.J. Brown. Where was A.J. Brown drafted? Not in the first round. Number 51, I think it was. Second round pick, 100% in 2019 after Jeffrey Simmons. What a great draft class that 2019 class was. But the point is, you can find a guy in the second round where you have pick number 35 and still give yourself a great opportunity to add a number one wide receiver. And in this mock draft, I had the opportunity to take a guy like Chris Bell from Louisville, a guy like Zachariah Branch from Georgia, a guy like Chris Brazzell from Tennessee, who I like a lot. Or I could have went to the edge. Zion Young, Gabe Jacas, R. Mason Thomas. I could have went at cornerback. Colton Hood, still available. Keith Abney, D'Angelo Pounds. There were a lot of good options for the Titans in the second round. But I had to go with my guy, Omar Cooper, the wide receiver out of Indiana. Now, I'll be honest with you. As the days go by, I become more skeptical that Omar Cooper is going to be available in the second round. I'll be honest with you. If I had to bet my life on it right now, I would tell you that Omar Cooper is not available in the second round. And look, if Omar Cooper and his rise up the board makes this too unrealistic for you, then just say I took Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee, who I like a lot. And I know in the past, I have been somebody who said, can't trust a Tennessee wide receiver. I didn't like Jalen Hyatt. I did like Cedric Tillman, though. You know what I mean? But can't trust a Tennessee wide receiver. I think Brazzell is different. The way he runs routes, the routes that they let him run at Tennessee, the way he sinks his hips for in-breakers and out-breakers specifically, for a guy who's 6'5", that size, runs that speed, like, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a chance on it. I'm going to take a chance on that. So if Omar Cooper seems too unrealistic for you, that's perfectly fine. Just sub in Chris Brazzell, who certainly will be available at pick 35. I feel pretty confident in that. But regardless, the point is a guy like Omar Cooper, a guy like Chris Brazzell, even a guy like Zachariah Branch, a guy like Chris Bell, like, I do think that these guys have the potential to be number one elite wide receivers in the NFL. Like, they have the chance. Is it likely? No, if it were more likely, they'd be going higher in the draft, but it's not impossible either, and we see this happen all the time in the NFL. So wide receiver is one of those positions where you could find somebody on day two and them turn into a true superstar wide receiver. Like, that happens more often than it happens at other positions, like quarterback or edge rusher or offensive tackle. Wide receiver still gives you that ability. So you could say, oh, they can't take Jeremiyah Love at number one because they need premium positions, but I don't feel like that with wide receiver. I would rather take a wide receiver at round two, even if they do take an edge rusher at number one and don't take Jeremiyah Love. So that's how I would prefer it, is hitting wide receiver with that second round pick. Now, third round pick, think Titans need a cornerback, right? Okay, that makes sense. Dalen Everett was available. Malik Muhammad out of Texas, who I think makes a ton of sense for the Titans. Traden Stukes, Will Lee. But what I went with at pick number 66 is a guy that I'm going to be higher on this entire process, and you're going to hear me talk about him a lot, and it's Devin Moore out of Florida. He's got 31 and 5/8-inch arms. Would like that to be at 32, but that's still pretty long. And he's a big guy at 6'3", 198 pounds, ran a 4.540. The Titans want length and speed. And also worth noting, Devin Moore was one of the best zone cornerbacks in the entirety of college football. He is a zone coverage savant. So you have size, you have length, you have speed, you have zone coverage ability. I think that Devin Moore is an absolute home run for the Tennessee Titans at cornerback. Now, that's my 3-round mock draft for you. Jeremiyah Love, Omar Cooper, Devin Moore. Again, if you think Omar Cooper is too unrealistic, just say Chris Brazzell in your head and make yourself feel better. But the point is, if the Titans went Love, wide receiver, cornerback with their first 3 picks, I think that would be absolutely fantastic, and it would answer a lot of the questions that people have about taking Jeremiyah Love that high. But here's the reality, too. Free agency would have to help the Tennessee Titans with that, and I think a mock free agency that I'm about to go over with you could set the Titans up perfectly fine to take Jeremiyah Love with their first-round pick. Do want to let you guys know that today's bonus episode is brought to you by Indeed. You got workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position that you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure is on and you need the right hire, that's a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, that's a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support my show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Again, that's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? That's a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. College basketball is nonstop. You got big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into an even bigger potential win with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Say that 3 times fast, folks. But you can build any college hoop parlay that you want. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your read. You can mix spreads, totals, player props to match how you see the slate playing out. And you can apply that profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold, ride the team that you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, and now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Today's episode is also brought to you by Gametime. We live in a world where we can stream anything. We can order food in minutes. You can carry a supercomputer in your pocket. And somehow buying tickets to a live game still feels complicated. Hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout, endless steps. There has to be a better way, and there is, and that's why I use the Gametime app. It gives fans the advantage that they need and makes getting tickets simple, whether it's NFL games, concert, comedy, whatever you're into. I love the features on Gametime. You get a panoramic view from your seat so you know what you'll be looking at before you buy. Also, the price you see includes all the fees, so there's no surprises at checkout. They have zone deals where you pick a section and Gametime picks the seats to give you extra savings. 2 taps, and you have great seats locked in. Fast, easy, done. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Titans fans, let's cap off today's bonus edition of Locked On Titans. Did a 3-round mock draft to show you what it would look like if the Titans took Jeremiyah Love with their first overall pick at number 4. We went Love, we went wide receiver, whether you think that's Omar Cooper or Chris Brazzell. I'm open to interpretation on that one. Either way, they would work fine for me. Devin Moore at cornerback with our 3rd pick, and I think that hits all of the Titans' biggest needs, especially when we consider what the Titans might do in free agency. And I want to tell you what that free agency might look like. Again, we're getting ready to go into my free agency preview week here on my standard show that comes out every single night, the 30-minute edition. But before we dive in, do want to let you guys know that the Locked On Titans Everydayer Club now has a promo code to give you big-time savings and 1 month for free. The promo code is free agency. One word, free agency. Use that when you sign up at lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Again, you're going to get added to the Locked On Titans Everydayer Club, where you get ad-free versions of the podcast. You get to enter a Locked On Titans group chat with me and a bunch of other everydayers. It's an absolute blast. So use that promo code free agency to join the Locked On Titans Everydayer Club today. But with that being said, think about what the Titans might do in free agency here. I think they could go out and get a guy like Kingsley Enagbare. Get that right. Played for the Green Bay Packers, has 4.3 defensive end upside. It sounds like he was a trade candidate for the San Francisco 49ers last year, so Robert Saleh obviously sees him as a fit in that defense. I think Kingsley Enagbare could be a great value option for the Tennessee Titans if they don't go to the top of the market. I continue to say a guy like Sam Williams could be an option for the Titans. He was a rotational defensive end with the Dallas Cowboys last year. We know that Aaron Whitecotton is the Titans defensive line coach now, and Coach Sam Williams, he's a good rotational player. And with them trading for Jermaine Johnson, if you have Jermaine Johnson, you grab Enagbare, you grab Sam Williams, you have Femi Oladipo, you have Jalen Harrell. You use one of your day 3 picks in the NFL draft. Maybe a guy like Derek Moore out of Michigan, who I'm a big fan of, could make a ton of sense there. Now you have a rotation of 6 defensive ends, which is what I expect to have on the roster, is about 6 defensive ends. You have Femi and Jermaine Johnson as your starters. Enagbare could start over Femi if needed. Sam Williams is a rotational guy, and that would give the Titans a little bit more flexibility to maybe not take an edge rusher early on day 1 or day 2 of the draft. You add a guy like John Franklin Myers to the interior defensive line. He played some defensive end for Robert Saleh with the New York Jets. Add him into the defensive end rotation. I think Jeffrey Simmons could kick out and play some defensive end. Sebastian Joseph Day could kick out and play some heavy defensive end if the Titans bring him back in free agency. So if the Titans get Kingsley Enagbare, Sam Williams, John Franklin Myers, bring back Sebastian Joseph Day, I think they have all they need at the edge right now. Yes, they didn't get an alpha edge rusher, but outside of Trey Hendrickson, I don't really think one is available. You can't get an alpha pass rusher right now unless you want to go trade for Max Crosby, which, again, I don't think makes a ton of sense for the Tennessee Titans based on what I think Max Crosby will get in a trade. So if you do that on the defensive line, and then at cornerback, you get one of Alontae Taylor, Tyreek Woolen, Jalen Watson. You pair that with Devin Moore. You bring back Darrell Baker Jr., you add in another veteran value cornerback like an Akello Witherspoon, for example, something like that. And I think you got pretty good talent at cornerback with Marcus Harris on the inside. Kevin Winston's going to play some big nickel for the Titans. Then you look at wide receiver. If you add Omar Cooper or Chris Brazzell, and then you get Wan'Dale Robinson, maybe you could still get your hands on a Michael Pittman Jr. That would make a ton of sense for the Titans, and again, would open them up to draft Jeremiyah Love with their first-round pick. At center, where the Titans need a starter, sounds like they're going to try to bring back Kevin Zeitler. If they do that, then you just need a starter at center. A Tyler Biotish, an Elgton Jenkins, a Cade Mays, a Connor McGovern. Or the Titans could go big game hunting and go get Tyler Linderbaum. So if they do that in free agency, and they can use their other 8 picks in the draft to continue to add at those positions, they absolutely could take Jeremiyah Love number 4 overall. That, like, the argument that the Titans can't find talent at any other position if they use their first-round pick on running back, it just doesn't make sense. And again, the exercise that we've done here today proves that that's simply not the case. The Titans still have plenty of assets in free agency and in the draft that they can take Jeremiyah Love number 4 overall. Again, even if I wouldn't say that's my preference, I wouldn't be upset about it either, because I can see how Jeremiyah Love would help this team. So it's certainly possible, and if people are trying to tell you that it can't happen or the Titans can't get this or can't get that because they take Jeremiyah Love at number 4, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. They have a ton of ability to do different things, and that doesn't even include other trades that they could potentially make, which could make sense. So keep that in mind. It's certainly possible and certainly doable for the Titans to hit all of their big positions of need and still take Jeremiyah Love in the first round. But with that being said, again, later tonight, free agency preview begins with the wide receiver group. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.